Peggy 16.
Why Technomancers are degenerates? We are all inbreds. I'm mentioning the fact that we are also used as war weapons. People here are naive, content, and perfectly happy. Maybe I am a little more outspoken than others. What can I say? You were lucky that you can leave your place of birth. How many have had such luck?
Don't let him get away! Make him bleed! Kill him!
Looking for trouble?
Life's what you make of it, and I want to make it an adventure. So if you're looking for some dangerous escapades, I know a girl.
Such is our world. They're pawns in a chess game played by imbeciles. Take care, Zachariah. Take care.
Welcome to Mars as we explore with our protagonist Zachariah, a post-apocalyptic society 120 years after it was disconnected from Earth, creating new cultures and new societies throughout the Martian landscape of the Technomancer, the fifth RPG from Spiders. Zachariah is a Technomancer, a warrior able to harness his bioelectric powers into powerful skills and abilities in combat, focusing on 3 distinct fighting stances: Warrior, Guardian, and the Rogue stance, which we'll be showcasing later. Right now, you're looking at the Warrior stance, with a buff that increases its base damage but limits the ability gauge to 1 slot, reducing the amount of active skills we can use. You'll notice also the stamina bar decreasing on certain actions, causing you to be less effective in combat. The Guardian stance offers a chance to defend, parry, and bludgeon your way through the red planet, equally infusing your weapon with the power of electricity to buff your blows. Further moves are upgraded as you level up. From melee combat skills to active and passive abilities, everything can be unlocked and upgraded in the ability tree, where you'll You'll be able to improve the game's 3 combat styles and also your Technomancer abilities as you level up and gain XP. Exploring the hub world in the Technomancer will of course take you further through the story, but also allow you to search for secrets, bandits, and to return to places you visited earlier and unlock new quests and pathways. Sean is acting as a companion here, one of the many companions you'll meet in the game. They level up alongside you and you can build relationships with them, learn about their lives and even romance them if you grow close. Looting and crafting equipment is important in the Technomancer, with crafted weapons and armor drastically changing the appearance and effectiveness of clothing and weapons. This feature isn't fully complete in this alpha demo, but this should give you a taste. Zachariah is entering into stealth to perform a sneak attack on the enemy. Many times you can completely avoid combat using stealth, even choosing stealthy ways to complete quests. This has been a brief overview of some of the features in the Technomancer, releasing 2016. Stay tuned for more. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mars in the sci-fi action RPG The Technomancer. We previously covered many aspects of the game in our gameplay trailer. Today we'll go into more details about one of them, your companions who will explore and fight alongside you during your journey. All companions in The Technomancer have their own story. You will meet some of them early while others will not join your group until later in the game once you get to know them, and they get to know you. Some will join you out of loyalty and others out of mere opportunity, or as a result of a chain of unfortunate events.
You are driving. Get us out of Ophir now.
When you're out there exploring or fighting, you may select 2 companions in your party to come with you. Choose carefully as they will all have their own fighting skills complementing yours, but also, if your relationship is good, special talents increasing your efficiency in various domains such as crafting, knowledge in sciences, or lockpicking. All of your companions have their own mood, preferences, and moral code. If you act too much against their beliefs, they might get mad at you and go so far as to leave your group.
This is fucking murder. Killing our own, crushing their heads.
On the contrary, shine and prove worthy of their trust and you'll nurture friendships. Or more. Companions who like or love you will be more useful than those who loathe you. Your companions all have their own agendas or preoccupations. They will regularly ask you to help or for favors. Should you decide to access their requests, it will begin their narrative arcs.
Someday I will kill that madman.
With a series of multiple quests.
You have gone too far, Cain. Fight someone your own size.
They will let you learn much more about their past, improve your relationships, and will eventually leave a big mark on the character and the world as you complete these arcs. And sometimes drastically improve their efficiency in battle. Your companions level up alongside you, increasing their effectiveness in combat. However, they'll be left behind if you don't upgrade their equipment. Companions have their own inventory, and you can change their equipment at any moment. Everything you can wear, they can also wear, so make sure to regularly provide them with better armor and weapons. You're also able to upgrade their current gear thanks to your crafting talent, to further improve their effectiveness. You'll drastically increase their survivability and lethality, and you can also make sure they look appropriately badass to stroll with you around the deadly place that is Mars. Forge the Destiny of Mars in the Technomancer, June 28th on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. As we make ready for one dangerous trip in the harshest environment ever inhabited by mankind, Mars. With its terraforming aborted hundreds of years ago and a murderous sun to boot, the Red Planet isn't exactly a hospitable place, and every nook and cranny of the Forsaken Planet holds deadly lurking threats. Many hybrid creatures roam the canyons of Mars. Originally bioengineered by the first settlers from the genetic makeup of animals found on Earth, they have since gotten loose, creating a budding ecosystem. The harsh living conditions led them to mutate along the centuries, developing effective defense mechanisms. Most of them are aggressive and territorial, downright deadly should you fight them unprepared. But the other human survivors can be just as dangerous. Ever since Mars got isolated from Earth, multiple factions have risen. The corporation Aurora and its rival Abundance, which you're a part of, are among the most powerful. More secretive factions exist, such as the underworld mobs who call themselves the Vori, the Merchants Guild of Noctis, and the less lucky mutants whose DNA degenerated after being exposed to solar radiations and who are now living as slaves and outcasts. You will be able to befriend those factions or antagonize them, depending on your actions and your choices throughout the story. Hopefully, you have all the tools to survive the harsh environment of Mars. Technomancer powers can cover a wide range of uses. You have access to damaging powers such as the most basic electric arc or the more advanced electric storm, but also support powers. The electric fist will help you control the pace of combat thanks to its superior stunning and disrupting ability. Electric weapon will imbue your current blade, mace or staff with deathly sparks, and magnetic shield will surround you with an intangible field negating incoming damage for a time. All Technomancer powers are devastating in their own right, but you'll have to use them tactically as each use will cost you focus, a slow regenerating resource. Each of your powers are upgraded by spending points in the skill tree, but they also have access to 2 mutually exclusive upgrades, changing the way the power behaves. Your Technomancy powers complement your combat stance of choice. Combat with the staff, signature of a Technomancer. With a blade and gun, mark of the rogue. Or mace and shield, the weapons favoured by soldiers. The combat with the staff is based on mobility and area damage, using sweep moves and blows. Its wide attack can stagger multiple enemies at a time, and so this stance is most effective against big groups of enemies. Fighting with the blade and gun requires agility with careful dodging. The blade has a higher critical rate than other weapons and can poison enemies for additional damage over time. The nail gun lets you control the pace of the combat by interrupting enemies from afar and land finishing blows at safe range. Finally, the mace and shield combat stance focuses on defense. It is less mobile than other stances, but allows you to block incoming attacks and gunshots. Parrying at the last second lets you stagger enemies and inflict deadly counterattacks. Just like for Technomancy, each of these 3 stances has its own skill tree, where you can gain new skills but also improve them using different upgrade paths. Whatever your stance of choice may be, your companions will help you in combat. They all have their own talents complementing your own. Tanks, ranged combat specialist, healer. In the midst of battle, you'll be able to assign them different behaviors to adapt depending on the current situation and what you want them to do, such as focusing on melee combat or keeping you alive. Upgrading your arsenal will be equally important. You will loot and buy better weapons and armor or receive them as a quest reward. Each has its own bonuses, and some of them also have crafting slots, allowing you to further improve their stats according to your preferences and playstyle. You'll be able to improve damage, resistance, as well as add various special effects such as disruption, resistance to specific damage types, energy regeneration, and more. However, brute force won't be the only tool at your disposal to overcome adversity. If you decide to select them, different talents will help you take alternative routes. The stealth talent will help you sneak around, taking down targets silently to weaken a group of enemies, or simply to pass through unnoticed. Traps and lockpicking allows you to set traps on the patrol route of enemies, but also often lets you access alternative routes by unlocking doors. The science and charisma talents will allow you to try and defuse tense situations before they explode, successfully averting a crisis without having to fight.
Tell you to get the hell out of Ophir and don't look back.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Bye, Lieutenant.
Survive the many dangers of Mars, and you will become the most powerful Technomancer master.
At the source of all life, there is water. On Mars, where it is rare, water is a source of conflict, struggle, and death. Since the turmoil, there have been unending wars, fought over the possession of clean water. We are the forgotten children of Earth, trapped in this red, barren wasteland. Here, hell is not a concept, it's our reality. And I would know. Of course, in despair, there is hope. Some have begun to explore, travel even, from corporation to corporation, leaving their loyalties behind. We have organization, structure, and inevitably, politics. We have rulers, a people's assembly, and far removed from us, the Dowser, the inaccessible face of abundance. And finally, there's us, the elite protectors of the people, the spearhead of the army, my brothers and sisters who all share the same special gift. We are Technomancers.
Hello everyone, today we're traveling to Mars with the sci-fi action RPG The Technomancer. You are Zachariah, and you're about to begin your journey as the most gifted rookie Technomancer from Abundance, a powerful corporation. Technomancers are formidable warriors who harness destructive electrical powers, channeled through their implants. As you create your character and its appearance, you'll choose your starting talents and attributes. You'll be able to specialize in one of the 3 combat stances, in Technomancy or become an all-rounder. Whether you become a charismatic warrior adept of the Technomancer powers in the noble staff fighting, a shady rogue dabbling in poison daggers, trickery and stealth, or a crafty soldier fighting with a shield and able to upgrade and improve his weapons, there's plenty of character progression to make you and your story unique. Your journey starts in Ophir, capital of Abundance, erected from the remains of the first human settlements in the Ophir Chasma. Led by a totalitarian regime and the ASC, its secret police, it is one of the oldest cities on Mars and one of the last remaining bastions of humanity. But you'll visit many other locations, from the abandoned Earth domes to legendary cities that you'll be able to travel to thanks to your trusty rover.
Thanks for the thanks, but it doesn't change the fact I still want to see your head on a stake at some point.
Mars is a dangerous place with deadly threats lurking at every corner. You'll fight other human survivors, such as the underworld mobs in the slums of Ophir, the ASC agents hurting you, the Technomancers from rival corporation Aurora, and mutants whose DNA degenerated after being exposed to solar radiations, and who are now living as outcasts. But you'll also face much more fearsome enemies in the form of many hybrid creatures roaming the canyons of Mars. Originally bioengineered by the first settlers from the genetic makeup of animals found on Earth, their mutations have since grown out of control. The harsh living conditions on Mars led these creatures to develop effective defense mechanisms: poison, camouflage, brute force. They will aggressively defend their territory should you trespass. Master one or all of the combat stances: staff, blade with gun or mace with shield. Each has its own skill tree where you can improve your existing skills or gain new ones by allocating XP you earn during your adventure. The staff combat is based on mobility and area damage using sweep moves and blows, effective against groups of enemies. Fighting with the blade and gun requires agility, with careful dodging. The blade can poison enemies, while the nail gun lets you control the pace of the combat. Finally, the mace and shield combat stance focuses on defense, blocking and parrying the last second to stagger enemies and inflict heavy damage. It's also important to remember you may change stance during a fight. Let's not forget you're a Technomancer. Whichever combat stance you prefer, you can combine it with your electrical powers. Electrify your weapons to boost its damage and disruption ability, form a magnetic shield around you to boost your defense, directly attack with powerful arcs, or enter overload. Your Technomancy powers are what sets you apart, and will be an incredible asset in combat. Your skills in combat will only get you so far. The crafting system will let you upgrade your equipment thanks to spare parts found while exploring, looted from enemies, or salvaged from unwanted pieces of gear. You will be able to improve damage, resistance, as well as add various special effects such as disruption, resistance to specific damage types, energy regeneration, and more. Improving your crafting talent and learning new construction plans will let you craft more powerful gear. The Technomancer offers up to 40 hours worth of quests, most of which can be solved in different ways. Here, we're trying to meet the boss of the Vori. The problem is the door to his office is guarded, and their leader won't let you enter without a pass. You can decide to simply force your way in, but you'll have to face many enemies at once in a tough battle, and it might also degrade your reputation with the Vori. You can also play the trick card, stealing the required pass from a lone guard to turn it into the guard, or take a stealthy approach, using your lockpicking and stealth skills to find another way in. The quests in the Technomancer often let you decide how to accomplish them, with up to 5 different ways. You'll be faced with a lot of difficult decisions along your journey, and each of them will have an impact on the world, its inhabitants, your relationship with the factions at play, but also with your companions. Eventually, your choices and playstyle will impact your story, the fate of your companions, and the destiny of Mars and its inhabitants. All of your companions have their own mood, preferences, and moral code. Act too much against the beliefs of one of them and they might leave the group. So be careful, because while your companions will be helpful during the fights, they also help you during exploration with passive skills.
Everyone in the
Embark upon your epic journey later this year with the Technomancer, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.